A few years ago, a survey asked around 2,400 adults, what makes life fulfilling? Interestingly, at the bottom of the list, what 24% thought was extremely or very important, 24% now, quarter of the people, having a lot of money. That was at the bottom of the list. Also of note was that 23% believed being married was extremely or very important, and the majority of those saying it, that it was essential, were men and not women. And 26% thought having kids was essential, but only 23% saw being married that way. Okay, we're just going to let you run with that one. Now you just do what you need to do. So what do you think? Here's your quiz for the day. What do you think were the top 2 things that people thought were essential to have a fulfilled life? What do you think?
Good health.
Nope. Trust? Kind of. Community. That you're very, very close. Love? Okay, so 71% said having a job or career that you enjoy, which was the top one. 61% said having good friends. So these results they're heartening to me because it shows that even amid all the egoic clatter out here in the world about wealth and fame and power and influence and being the only markers of success, of having a good life, the majority of us really understand that what is essential for a good life is purpose and connection. When we have friends, when we feel connected to one another in the world, when we have employment, a vocation, something in the world we enjoy doing that gives us a sense of a higher purpose, and we feel like we're making a contribution to something larger than ourselves, this is truly what is fulfilling. This search for more meaning and purpose in our life's work, it's obviously something that the pandemic helped us to rediscover, I think, as a central value as millions of people left their jobs. Remember the Great Resignation? A Pew Research poll showed that the majority of quitters back then, they left their jobs because of low pay, no chance for a promotion, disrespect from their bosses, not enough flexibility in their jobs. Indeed, all of that can add up to a lack of purpose, a lack of joy in what they were doing, so they left to find a job, a vocation that could provide that. Where we stumble, though, is that often our aspirations outrun our motivations, especially in that top criteria for a fulfilled life of having good friends. Because another study found that it takes nearly 60 hours together for someone to move from an acquaintance to a casual friend. It takes nearly 100 hours for them to become a friend and more than 200 hours before they can graduate to your BFF. The problem is, we're spending less and less time with those we want to call friends. You spend a lot of time with coworkers. You spend a lot of time with your partner, but only about 30 minutes a day or so with the people that we call friends. Even less if they're Facebook friends, whatever those are. That's not much. I mean, considering most of us say that we find that kind of connection vital to a fulfilled life. Now, if indeed most of us recognize that connection with others is essential for a fulfilling life, what is it then that blocks us from actually moving toward what we say is most important to us? Well, as A Course in Miracles reminds us in chapter 2, you believe in what you value. If you are afraid, you are valuing wrongly. Your understanding will then inevitably value wrongly, and by endowing all thoughts with equal power will inevitably destroy peace. We long for connection, yeah. But I believe it's what fear is what holds us back. Often we ride on the surface of connection. We hang out with people, but we never quite dedicate the hours needed to move from acquaintance to casual friend to best friend. The ego makes us afraid to be vulnerable, to really open ourselves up to other people, even if those people are friendly, even if they're kind, they fit all of our criteria, they match our political, religious, class, and other background similarities, even if we desperately want to connect on that heart level with others, our egoic fears, they hold us back. We think that if others know what we think is the truth about us, that we're imperfect, that we're weak, that we're stupid, that we're not truly worthy of love, then they're going to reject us. But here's the truth. We all believe that. We all believe that about ourselves because we've all been hoodwinked by the ego that convinces us that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, and nobody's going to like us anyway. Which is a lie, of course. Because we're so steeped, though, in that egoic belief of separation, we fully believe that our perceived shortcomings make up the essence of who we truly are. And so, as the Course says, we have valued wrongly. We have made our insecurities what we value more than our connection to others. And this is why we have no peace. Because we still ultimately believe in our separation. Or as the Sufi mystic poet Rumi puts it, we keep stopping for long periods at mean-spirited roadhouses, allowing our insecurities and our anxieties and our grievances to keep us feeling separate and alone. So what is the cure? Well, as Rumi and Ben Lee say, gamble everything for love. Gamble everything for love if you're a true human being. If not, leave this gathering. Half-heartedness does not reach into majesty. You set out to find God, which is connection. It's not God in the sky. You set out to find God, which is our unity, our oneness. That is God. You set out to find unity, but you keep stopping for long periods at mean-spirited roadhouses. I would submit that individually and collectively, especially here in the U.S., we're not just visiting mean-spirited roadhouses. We have gotten all of our luggage and we have moved in. And we call those mean-spirited roadhouses our homes. We're so divided, especially over politics, and it's become clear that what we value most is this idea of separation, that you are not like me. And most folks say that connection to friends is what makes life fulfilling, but a study just this year found out that fewer than 10% of friendships cross political lines. How many are shocked? Yep, nobody. Nobody is shocked. A YouGov poll just last year found that 34% of Democrats find it very stressful to spend time with friends and family members who do not share their political views, while 23% of Republicans said the same. Interestingly, nearly a quarter of both Democrats and Republicans said relationships have ended over politics. So we know connection to friends is what makes life fulfilling, but we don't spend enough time with others to really forge that strong bond. Particularly if they have a different point of political view than we. You can forget spending time with those folks. And we wonder, why do we feel so disconnected? Where do we start to heal the divide? You want to know the answer? Very close. We start with denial. Yeah, it's not just a river in Egypt. It's also the key to enlightenment and an ultimate holy and eternal connection. A Course tells us there is such a thing as positive denial. And it's how we reach what the Bible calls the peace that passeth all understanding. The peace, of course, says, this peace is totally capable of being shaken by errors of any kind. It denies the ability of anything not of God to affect you. This is the proper use of denial. It is not used to hide anything, but to correct error. It brings all error into the light, and since error and darkness are the same, it corrects error automatically. This kind of proper denial, it says, denies the ability of anything not of God to affect you. And so we've used the unity theme for God. It denies the ability of anything not unifying to affect you. Do you know what's not of God? Separation, insecurity, anxiety, fear, grievance, hatred, political opinions, everything we think that keeps us separate from one another is not of God. It's unholy. It is of the ego. And when we can see that, then we can begin to understand what really matters in life. It's our connection. What we are denying is the reality of separation. So what is true? Love, peace, joy, compassion, empathy, unity. These are the things of God. These are the unifying things. And if we dedicate our lives to practicing this and only this, acting out in these ways in the world, denying the separation, remembering the truth that we are all one, unified in the mind of God, then we will live in a way that truly matters. We only appear to be separate. But when we put our faith in the appearance of separation, A Course in Miracles says we miscreate. We create governments that work for some people but not for others. We create education systems that privilege some and disadvantage others. We create monetary systems that drive wealth upward and leave the vast swath of people poor. We create healthcare systems that cater to the wealthy but bankrupt regular folks who just happen to get sick. We create a class system of haves and have-nots and destroy ways for those with less to even gain more. We create religions that would rather condemn large numbers of people to a literal hell than open their hearts to a God of unconditional love. We must deny the power of these systems over us. We must believe that even in our small acts of becoming and extending holy love into the world, we can overcome even the most egregious miscreations that we together can create or miscreate. This kind of denial, of course, says, is not a concealment but a correction. Your right mind depends on it. In the service of the right mind, the denial of error frees the mind and reestablishes the freedom of the will. When the will is really free, a Course says, when the will is really free, it cannot miscreate because it recognizes only the truth. Our right minds depend on us denying anything we feel that separates us from others. When we can reestablish that connection with our higher divine self, we cannot miscreate. We will only produce love and peace and joy within ourselves, and that's what radiates and extends out into the world. So how can we stay in our right mind? Because we're going to walk right out here and go, that guy just cut me off, that dirty soda. How do we deny the existence of this seemingly solid separation that we see and feel? Awareness is the key. It always is. Buddhist teacher Tara Brach says her number one tool, and I love this tool. I'm gonna start using it. She says her number one tool to stay in her right mind is to do a thought inventory during the day. Just to take stock of where her mind has been during the course of the day. So I invite you, think about this practice. So this is how she says to do it. Set an alarm on your phone, maybe for around lunchtime, then again for early evening, and then again maybe before you go to bed. So like 3 times a day, set a little alarm. And then take an inventory of your thoughts. Have you been ruminating on old grievances? That's my favorite. Have you been thinking about how things could go wrong in a certain situation? Have you been having anxious thoughts, sad, fearful thoughts? Have you been doom scrolling? Where has your mind been today? Tally up those thoughts. See which side of the scale you are spending most of your time in. Are most of your thoughts creative? Are you fostering a sense of connection with yourself and others? And not just the ones you agree with on Facebook? Right? I'm feeling real connected to those people. Or are you just generating feelings of fear and hatred or anxiety or grievance? If you do this practice and you become more aware of your thoughts and how they're either creating or miscreating during the day, you get better. You get better. This is the awareness piece. You get better at spotting and denying those miscreative thoughts so much faster. So much faster. And if you take up this practice on the regular, watching your thoughts, denying those that cause separation or anxiety, eventually you are going to find that more friends show up in your life. Maybe even friends with whom you do not see eye to eye on in every situation or issue. But you will find yourself seeing more deeply, seeing them more deeply, seeing yourself more deeply, and recognizing that what really matters is our soul level connection, not our voting habits. And if you get really good at this, if you get really, really, really good at this, you're going to find that the ego's fear of inadequacy and vulnerability will let go. Because you don't need it anymore. And you will be able to find that deep soul level connection with everything, with everyone that crosses your path throughout the day. And this, my friends, this is the true key. What matters most is the moment. What matters most is this moment. And whoever or whatever is in front of you right now. This positive denial of separation enables us to put aside the past with all of its fraught emotions and opinions and division, as well as put aside any thoughts of what might happen in the future, and instead clearly see the beloved child of God or the beloved beauty of nature that is right before you right now. What matters most is love. What matters most is your spiritual path and every moment that comes before you. So I invite you, live your life from this place of love and deny anything that isn't love. Deny anything that does not feed your connection to it all. Embrace only what expands you spiritually. If this is our practice, then as author Paul Selig writes, our whole lives will transform. This is what he says. The day you no longer act upon an old fear, the day you realize your neighbor is your love and not your enemy, the day that you decide that the only thing that hampers you on the road before you is the illusion of separation, you create a new way of being yourself as love. And that's the payoff. That's the jackpot. But only if you are willing to gamble everything for love. Oh, yeah. This is a song I wrote in 2018, and it is about embodying love. If anyone's familiar with Richard Rohr, writer Richard Rohr, oh my. He's a Catholic priest, and if he has not read A Course in Miracles, then he's channeling it too. Because he is so, everything he says is so close. But I wish I had written down the exact quote, but it inspired this song, because he basically said, we become what we receive. What we welcome will welcome us. And that's what we will embody in the world, what we welcome. So this is called What We Become. Generosity knocked on my door, and I sent it away, fearing it would ask too much. Greed knocked and I let it in with its promise to keep me full. Love knocked on my door, and I sent it away, fearing it would consume me. Hate knocked and I let it in with its promise to wall off the world. We become what we receive, what we welcome welcomes us, what makes a home in our hearts we embody in the world. Kindness knocked on my door, and I sent it away, fearing that it would drain me. Anger knocked and I let it in with its promise to protect me. Peace knocked on my door, and I sent it away, fearing it would dull my rage. War knocked and I let it in with its promise to vanquish my foes. We become what we receive, what we welcome welcomes us, what makes a home in our heart we embody in the world. What have we become by welcoming our fears? How have we suffered by not allowing our tears? Why do we succumb to the darkness outside? What if ability to open greed's clenched fist? What if we welcomed love to sweep our houses cleared of hate? What if we welcomed kindness to cool the heat of our anger? What if we welcomed peace to beat our swords into plows? What would we become if our hearts were not so small? What would we become if we welcomed it all? Oh, yeah. There you go. There you go. All right. Our closing words. Oh, we got to. Oh, Rick will get the chalice. Our closing words come from A Course in Miracles, chapter 2. True denial is a powerful protective device. You can and should deny any belief that error can hurt you. This kind of denial is not a concealment, but a correction. Your right mind depends on it. Oh, yeah. And we